just 1 minute to go. Some people suggested that you might pull out in the comments, but it looks like you're here.
I never pull out of interviews. I can't recall a single time where anybody would even have the ability to compare that to, but yeah, I'm here.
Okay, George, I've got to ask you, do you think of yourself as an aberration in politics? Are you mainstream or symptom of the times?
I am George Santos. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think symptom of the times, that would be kind of rich because I mean, we have members of Congress going on social media and saying, flaunting as one of the richest members of Congress, or like, I mean, no, I don't know. I consider myself more of an outlier in politics, or when I was in politics. I kind of like to say that I've removed myself from politics at this point.
So you're a one-time limited edition.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, that's a great way to put it. I love that.
Do you think there'll be more George Santoses?
I mean, I'm not the first person to go to Congress and get caught up, I mean, in scandal, right? But I am very upset that I didn't get a FEMA sponsored Tiffany and Co. yellow diamond ring out of it. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know, maybe not. I don't even know what that means. Will there be more George Santos? What will there be another gay open Republican? Hopefully. I think, hopefully the party keeps growing and we show that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, your background, your ethnicity, your gender, so long as your ideology is conservative. That's my opinion.
And so I more mean, like, do you think that other people in Congress are doing what you were doing in terms of taking donor funds? And do you think that they just that you didn't understand the game and they do?
I think it's interesting. So when you say taking donor funds, can you expand? Because I do want to answer this question appropriately.
No, what do you plead guilty to? Tell me what you believe you did.
I pled guilty to what the DOJ forced me to plead guilty to, because that's how the DOJ operates, right? They write your allocution for you and your plea for you, and you can't even edit it. So if we're going there, but my crime, and I'm very, very comfortable in admitting that it was a poor choice, was straw donation. That's where the whole thing starts. People, I am sick and tired of hearing online people say, oh, he stole from a dying veteran's dog. That's not true. I was never charged for that. That is false. That is a figment of the imagination of a man who, ignored his dog for so long. And by the time he sought help, the dog was passed.
Oh, speaking of dogs,
doggy,
my dog, he's saving you right now.
You're so fine. No, you're fine. So, like, there's this wild concept out there that people like to say, like, oh, George Santos stole donor money. There was issues in my campaign with expenditures, but people fail to realize that I was the largest contributor to my campaign. I contributed $700,000. So it's quite annoying, but it is what it is. Who
do you owe $374,000 to?
According to the DOJ, I don't owe anybody, by the way. By law, I owe nobody nothing. So let's correct the record there. According to the DOJ, they wanted me to pay back money that was invested in my campaign by the NRCC. That was a big swat of that chunk of money that was put out there in the restitution. And then there was some, I guess, all the, misspent funds in the campaign, and they came up with their formula of how they would,
But those people donated money to you thinking that was going to go to campaign activity, not to like Sephora, La Mer, or like Botox.
Sephora is an expenditure on a lot of campaigns. Where do you think politicians buy their makeup?
I work in the,
and it's not illegal.
I work in the broadcast business, but you're not allowed to expend it. That's not a business expense.
It is in campaigns.
Okay. I mean, do you think that people, when they were donating to you, thought that was how they were going to use the money?
Oh, we're talking about $183. You know that, right?
I do understand that, but still, it's a matter of like ethics. How
it is not unethical. If a person is donating to a campaign and it is to fund all the operations of the campaign, and candid image goes with that. By the way, I wasn't the one who even went to Sephora.
But what about like the OnlyFans subscription or like the design clothing?
Again, that wasn't me, but great. Hey, you want to call me the guy who spent money on OnlyFans? And the allegations out there were $400,000. We're still looking for $400,000 for OnlyFans, by the way.
Yeah. Here's what I want to ask you about, though, because you did mention that you think that the other people in Congress, your former colleagues, that they're actually doing a lot of the same things, or just not.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just pointing out to the facts that are in the media.
Okay. And I'm just wondering, like, do you ever see anyone in Congress and think like, wow, they're running the same playbook that I am?
No, I don't. I didn't run a playbook.
Yeah.
My shit was unintentional, right? Like, let's make this very clear. You're talking about somebody who literally ran for Congress twice. I was not a politician whatsoever. I had an entire team around me. They were running the gambit, whatever. And you know, the whole thing comes into.
But what about the using like donors' personal information and their credit cards for?
Again, I didn't do that. No, I didn't have access to donors' credit cards. I've made that very clear for years now that I didn't have access to that. I wasn't in the finance team. I was a candidate.
Okay. Let's do a lightning round about who's more trustworthy in Congress, George Santos or Mike Johnson.
I'm not. I think what's the point of that? Like, what are you trying to get at it from comparing me to other people?
I'm just wondering, because when you came into Congress, you said, I want to drain the swamp. You said these people are all corrupt and you want to.
They are. They are. I mean, look at where we are. We're $38 trillion in debt. But I'm not going to go like head to head and calling people out. That's just not something I want to do. I don't have to do that. You can ask the question. I don't have to.
You seemed when you left Congress like you were ready to burn the place down. You were.
Sure, I was. And then I went to prison, and prison is so sobering. And why would I spend any ounce of my energy attacking people? It's just not good energy. I don't want to spend my energy that way. Like, you can choose to make those questions and make this entire interview about things that I don't want to answer. And you know, or you can make it productive. So it's up to you, Tara. Balls in your court.
I would love to talk to you about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because sometimes I feel like you're speaking for her, and I don't know if you are or you're channeling her.
I'm not. I'm speaking for myself. I love Marjorie. Marjorie's my friend. I think the amount of pressure she's under, the amount of like hate that's out there for her because people operate in hive mentality in today's day and age is just unfair. She's been such a good supporter of the causes that we all, in my tent, believe in. To see people turning on her because of a disagreement is just wild to me, you know? Now, obviously, the president, I'm a big fan of the president, and the president's entitled to his opinion and everything. We don't all have to agree. And a lot of people are like, oh, George will never disagree with the president. No, I disagree. I think he could have done this in a different fashion. I also think Marjorie took steps that she could have done differently. So I think everybody here is just like at odds with one another for no reason. But Marjorie's my friend. I'm not going to change that. President Trump's my president, the guy who really motivated an entire movement to actually get out of the dark and go out there and fight for something they believe in. I'm never going to change that support for him either. But in this situation, I find it very unfortunate that everybody's just like kind of at odds with each other. But again, I will go to bat for Marjorie the same way she went to bat for me.
How do you think she feels about being kicked around by Trump? Someone who like she was.
I don't know. I mean, it has to be upsetting, but I don't know. I haven't talked to her about that. Honestly, my conversations with her are totally unrelated to these things. I try to talk to her and, you know, like just put a smile on her face. That's my job as a friend.
Okay. If you had to choose one, Trump or Marjorie, who would you choose?
That's just not there. There isn't a world where I have to make that choice. So I don't have to make that choice, thankfully.
You want to name your first two children Donald and Marjorie, though, right?
Yeah, that is actually fact. Yep, that is true.
The rest of it's not true. The stuff that you have to go to prison for, but that's true. So a lot of your colleagues are talking about quitting. What do you think about that? The fact that
let them quit, let them eat cake. I don't care, honestly. Don't call them my colleagues because I'm not a member of Congress anymore. I'm a civilian, so they're not my colleagues.
You don't want to go back into politics?
No, the people that I associate with from politics, I call them friends, and those are very few. And everyone else there is just members of Congress that I could give two flying you-know-whats about what they do with their lives. If they want to resign. If they want to stay. If they want to keep screwing the American people, stay screwing the American people. But please do not put me in the same pot as they are. I find that highly offensive.
You think you're definitely above them?
It's not about being above them. It's just I'm not them. I'm not there. I'm not an elected official, so I'm not part of. They're not my colleagues. You're a colleague to someone when you're part of something with them. I'm part of nothing with them. I'm an American. That's at best.
So you feel like you escaped when they sort of expelled you?
No, they didn't sort of expel me. They expelled me without any ceremony. Let's make that very clear. I feel like I dodged a bullet. I feel like politics was the most toxic thing that happened in my life, and being in Congress was the most self-destructive thing that happened in my life. So I'm so humbled and glad that I'm not there anymore, honestly.
Okay, let's talk about the commutation. How did you get it? And
I don't know. I was in prison. I saw it on TV.
Okay, first of all, people are spending millions of dollars trying to get pardoned.
I did not spend a penny to get a commutation. Let me
There
cut
was
that.
no one working the scenes for you behind the scenes.
Nope. We did the process. My attorney, Joe Murray, did the process within the confines of the law, and I got a commutation.
Is the secret to getting a pardon simply loving Donald Trump?
I would disagree with that, but you can say that. It's your platform. You can say whatever you want, Tara.
Do you think having like devotion?
I don't have to endorse it.
Do you think he got special treatment because of your devotion to him?
There's no devotion. I don't adore. I want to make this clear. My devotion is to God. And it's so fucking infuriating that I have to keep listening to people say that I have devotion and adoration for Donald Trump. No, I support Donald Trump as the president of the United States, as a politician. And it's infuriating when people have this, they essentially elevate him to God status, which is fine if some members of the media want to do that, like yourself, that's cool. I'm okay with saying I support President Trump, that I think he's a great leader for our country, that he's a great leader for the Republican Party. But I don't think it's something where we should be conflating the two things. I think it has nothing to do with it. President Trump has given clemency to so many people, many people. I don't recall the Chrisleys having adoration for Donald Trump, and they got a pardon. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. The man looks at case by case. He didn't think, first of all, and Tara, a lot of Democrats in office didn't think that I should have gotten the sentence I got. That was number one. It was overly charged, overly political. You look in history, it was like the most insane political charge in history. On top of that, you have me in a prison in solitary confinement for 41 days being tortured. Like, that's un-American at best. So you can say whatever you want. You can ask it and frame it in a catchy way. Get the viral clip circulating on the internet. I love that. Like, I'm here for your.
I mean, you're the meme king.
There
you go. Are you giving me advice?
Yeah, I mean, no, I showed up. I did you the favor of showing up.
Okay, you didn't do me the favor, but I have a question. Do you think that Trump gave you the pardon because he sees you as a commutation, because he sees you as a kindred spirit?
I don't know. That's a question for President Trump. I mean, I'm humbled. I'm thankful for it. Thank you. And I don't try to be. I'm not trying to be catty or anything. I'm just trying to be myself. And I'll go back here for a second and say I'm not saying as in a favor to you. I agree to come on your show, right? I'm not trying to knock you there. So for your audience there, I'm not trying to knock Tara. I have nothing against you. We never met, but. I just wanted to correct that because as I'm re-listening to myself like that sounded a little effed up. So but look, no, I don't know. I can't tell you how President Trump thinks.
Yeah. Do you feel like you owe him something?
Look, gratitude for sure. I mean, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I have the awesome privilege and ability to spend it with my family. That's priceless. You can't put a price on stuff like that. I cherish my family so much and my friends, and I have a full house. And I've been super emotional about it. It's been really rocking my world and my emotions the last few days that it's like, pinch me, is this real? But I owe the man a lot of gratitude. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about prison. You look really thin. Did you use it as a reset or?
I wish I looked really thin. I did lose weight. I need to lose a lot more. I mean, I'm still like 40 pounds heavier than when I first got elected to Congress, but that's just not going to even get into the issues of it. But no, I did lose weight. I did lose weight, not because I use it as a reset. It's the environment itself,
Mhm.
uh, is food's tough there. It's just really tough. I mean, they're feeding us pretty much slop, expired food, bread with mold on it. It's just like you can't make what happens in prison you can't make it up for the best script writers to actually translate it. So yeah, naturally everybody does lose some weight when they go to prison. It's not supposed to be camp. It's not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be comfortable, but it
Mm.
shouldn't be torturous. That's, so I did lose weight, which, hey, I'll look on the bright side of every awful situation. So on the bright side, it's a great diet plan. Not one that I would say for anybody to subscribe to.
Yeah, I know some people who would probably go to prison to lose 30 pounds. Um,
I don't suggest it, but sure, go ahead.
so I read one of your op-eds in one of the local Long Island papers, and you said the hardest part about being in prison was being invisible, not being seen. What did you mean by that?
Invisible by the system, not being seen. My health issues and concerns were number one. They took me off my medication that I've been on for God, I'm 22 years since I'm 15. They denied me my asthma medication for an entire 24 hours. It's just the whole thing was just wild, and I felt unheard, not listened to, and I felt like I was just being destroyed from within, and I felt lost in the system at that point.
Do you think it would have been different if there were like cameras on you or you were being documented at the time?
Um, no, I don't know. I there are cameras all over the facility, and that didn't stop the warden from doing what she did. So
Mm.
I don't know that it would make a difference.
What take me into that moment when you heard the doors close and you knew that you were in prison and you thought you were going to be there for, I'm guessing you thought you'd be there for 7 years, not three
Yeah.
months.
Well, not 7 years, but whatever within the programs. I knew I was going to be there a while. It sucked. It really sucked. It really brings perspective, makes you reevaluate your poor choices that led you to being in prison.
Mm.
You feel accountable and you feel like the responsibility of your shit actions. And I was there and I sat there. I wept. I cried to sleep pretty much every night. And just got to deal with it. And like I said, the commutation came to such a surprise. I found out through the TV. Like
Yeah.
it was MSNBC, actually, of all TV channels that had it on.
And then what happened next? Did they just come and get you?
Well, I ran to call my husband, and he's like, I was just on the phone with President Trump. I'm like, oh my God, go back to President Trump. I'll call you back in 15 minutes because you can only call it every 15 minutes
Mm.
or 30 minutes, pardon me. So I said, I'll call you back. I was like, I started crying.
Mm.
It was all a blur, and then people started coming to fill paperwork out, and it was insane.
Do you think you should have actually been in prison or was it just part of your arc?
Look, whether I believe I should have or should have not, it happened.
Mhm.
I did some dumb things. um I accept that, I admit that, and it is a part of my life that will stick with me for a very long time. But also it is a part of my life that will help reshape a lot of like the way I conduct myself moving forward, because there's one thing I can tell you: nobody wants to go back.
Mhm.
And I find it wild to think that there is a 55% recidivism in the federal incarceration system. It's just wild to me, right? People violating probation and going back right to that hellhole. I mean, if you in 84 days, I learned enough of a lesson that I can tell you, I will make sure that I can teach my kids those lessons, that I can teach anyone I ever touch, like, don't do anything stupid, don't do anything wrong, don't break the law. It's not worth it.
What did you learn? Like, what did you do? Because before you were pretty much saying you were guilt-free. DOJ made you say you were guilty, even though you weren't. Like, what are you sorry
guilt
for it?
It's not about guilt, Tara. It's about how the system works. It's not a fair system, right? You go into this process, the decks are stacked against you as a person, and there is no way whatsoever that you can go ahead and have a fair shake, right? But what I did learn is to avoid ever being put in that predicament, make sure that you cross your T's, dot your I's, don't play fast and loose with anything that is regulation, and especially stay the fuck away from money. That's literally kind of like, I work, I earn my money, but I want no dealings with any kind of regulatory stance. I'm so done. Like, I want a simpler life. That's for sure. That's 100% for sure.
So, like, submitting false financial disclosure reports, you say you learned your lesson from that, taking $25,000 in unemployment benefits during COVID, using donor credit cards without authorization. Like, those are things that you learned from.
Like I said, I just literally said that I think all these things are things that no one should be doing. Yes.
But are you, like, repentant?
Well, I get asked that question a lot. I mean, you know, some of your people say, like, your followers are just delightful people, by the way, with the way they speak. It's just amazing. I really hope that they have mirrors at home and that they one day don't find themselves or a loved one in the crosshairs of the law. And then, because I think everybody is so quick to judge and to be so bold on the internet and say awful things to people. First of all, nobody really knows me personally. People who know me personally will tell you straight up that this is so toxic. Like, the toxicity of the internet right now for me is my biggest turnoff. Second of all, to answer your question is quite simple. Am I repentant? Of course I'm repentant. I hurt friends, I hurt family members, I disappointed people, but I can say that until I'm blue in the face. Your followers here say a con man never changes his behavior, right? Somebody just said that. Well, you know what? I can sit here and speak to you, but clearly we're achieving nothing. We're giving nobody the perspective, because people are so decided in this country today to stick to what they believe, and they don't want to hear it. You can show that to them in the face. This is not what it seems to be, or this is not exactly how it is, but they refuse to, because we're in such a divided environment since 2015 that it's pointless. I mean, the amount of people.
I just think it wasn't just the crimes too. I think it was like the person that you claim to be, where you said you worked at Citi Group and another bank. You said you played on the volleyball team, and these are little things. I mean, you said that you're a descendant of Holocaust survivors. I mean, why did you choose the Holocaust?
That's actually not a lie. That's the one thing that got caught up in all of it. I
thought that your mom's family in Brazil emigrated to Brazil before the Nazi takeover.
That's not true. That's not true. That's factually inaccurate. What
year did they immigrate to Brazil?
My mother's family migrated to Brazil in the 1930s. So I'm not gonna, and look, I'm so done. I've already submitted DNA tests to prove my Ashkenazi background. I'm Catholic, and the Jewish thing was always a joke. Like, it was said in the form of a joke at the RJC, and everybody took it out of proportion. I have utmost respect for Israel and Judaism and all religions in general. But look, I'm not gonna relitigate all of it, right? Because I don't have to, and I don't want to. But at the same time, so much was said that was wrong. The media got so much wrong, because you had literally escorts posing as journalists and writing for Politico, Mother Jones, and contributing to the Daily Beast. That was Jacqueline Sweet, literally an escort, a call girl on a website where professional call girls are, posing as a journalist, then having an affair with one of my senior staffers to try to get information from my office, and writing sensational things without any corroboration, any proof. The lucky thing is that at the time, I was in no position to go sue anybody, because my attorney said, you don't want to go into a deposition, right? It would be
Yeah.
counterproductive.
Discovery.
But so a lot of people got really lucky with statute of limitations for libel and defamation.
Yeah. Do you have any desire to be known as an honest person?
You know, I'm already known as an honest person amongst people who have private dealings with me, and you can have those conversations with people. Anyone I've ever had a business dealing with has never felt burned and has always said that I've always operated above board in business. All the people that I have interactions with, I'm pretty blunt, and I'm pretty like, I don't beat around the bush, and I don't mince words. I'm like very direct. So I'm okay if people on the internet don't care. So, you know, I don't care, honestly, what people who don't know me think about me.
If we were going to play a game like you can trust me because, how would you fill in the blank on that?
No, you can trust me because I'll be your best phone call when you need it. I'll be your, you know, I got in trouble, call me, like, which I have so many times at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. You can trust me because if I have the means and you're in trouble financially, I have come through for so many friends of mine in so many various stages of life, helping bail them out of, here's your rent money, here's car money so your car's not repossessed. Like, I'm that friend. I don't know how to be a half-assed friend. I'm a full friend. I go all the way. Like, just literally yesterday, I dropped off in a local soup kitchen in Mount Pocono. I dropped off 50 fucking turkeys because people can't eat and have a turkey this Thanksgiving. So it's like, it's the best I can do. I can't do more. I'm not a multi-billionaire, right? Like Elon Musk, who I wish would give more to like people who are really suffering right now with the high cost of food and the holidays coming. But I do the part I can, you know, like I can't do everything, but I can do as much as I can. And I'm not one that I don't do it for show. You didn't see a single picture of me doing it. You didn't see a single video of me doing it. I didn't even post about it. I commented it to you because that's just how I like doing things. So
yeah, you were posting about Hermès. I mean, do you think that's the best look right now?
I don't care. I like Hermès. What's the look?
I mean, are you going to pay back the donors that?
Like I said, I don't have to. I owe nobody anything. That's number one.
Have they asked?
Number two, I have answered this question that when I have the means and as soon as I do, I'll put the funds together, and my legal team is exploring how to do it. There's no legal way to do it. There's no legal vehicle to do it. There is no restitution that can be done.
You could just do it yourself, though, right?
No, you can't. No, you can't. The DOJ doesn't tell you who to. When you're doing restitution and you're paying the DOJ, they take care of that. So there is no legal way to do it. I don't even know who these people would be that they put in the pot. They don't tell you this. So before you ask a question like that, I would preface making sure you understand how the legal process works. The DOJ does not tell you like, oh, X to such and so. No, they just say this is the loss amount and they'll disperse it. So there's no legal avenue. But my attorneys, I told them, look, I'm working on some projects. I will hopefully by some point next year have the means to do it. I want to put the money up. If I can't give it to restitution to the people intended that the DOJ wanted it to, I'll just give it to a charity. So a victim's charity, so people, or something like that. You know, I don't care. And I'll make that abundantly public and transparent, right? But that's something I want to do because it's for me. It's so I don't have to hear it from people like you or the internet. That's just the reality. It's for me because the next time a person asks me the question, I'll just tell them to, you know, go pound sand. So that's kind of where my head's at with that.
Are you saying this because you're tired of people asking?
It's not that I'm tired. I got out of prison 5 weeks ago. Yeah. Do you all think I'm rolling in cash?
Well, you were looking at Hermès bags, and we know that's
it was a meme. Like I memed myself, like the face you make when the essay says you're not getting a quota bag. Come on, like it's a joke. Like if you can't take, the best thing I'm doing right now is buying my Borghese mask, okay, and that's $49. Okay, like stop. And it's a good mask. You should consider it. It's great for your skin, and you have great skin, so keep it up.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I want to go into what's next for you. You said you're working on some projects. So we know you've been a drag performer. You've been a member of Congress, former felon. What's the next George persona?
Where was I a drag performer? I'm curious.
I mean, you know, from your past, there are pictures of you and performing in drag.
Oh, I was performing?
Well, you were dressed in drag.
Okay, I dressed in drag at the age of 18 years old in Rio de Janeiro.
I'm not judging, first of all.
I'm not judging. I'm not saying you're judging, but performing and dressing in drag are two very different things.
Okay.
So if it's about facts, because everybody here screams about facts, so that's not fact.
To clarify, you were only dressed in drag.
Okay, thank you. All right, great.
What's next? Is there dancing and performing? Dancing with the Stars, or?
You know what? There's so much on the plate right now that we're working on. I have been in a frenzy of work, and I'm so humbled by it. The opportunities that have been thrown my way. TBD, there is some stuff. 2026 is going to be a really busy year for George Santos.
I heard that you're headlining events for veterans with Anna Delvey, the fraudster.
Again, oh my God. First of all, fraudster, like, look.
Do you think she's an honest person?
I think she's honestly blunt and ambitious, and I freaking think that she is just like every other American. Now, I don't know about her deals.
What? Oh, wait a minute.
You're going to say Americans aren't ambitious?
No. Ambitious, but you don't take other people's money.
Oh, no, I'm not saying. I don't know about her. Believe it or not, I don't know about the details of her legal stuff, and I don't care to know because it's not my problem.
Well, there's a great Netflix show if you want to watch it.
Fantastic for Netflix. I don't give Netflix my time of day right now. I'm too busy for that. But my point is, I met Anna Delvey at the event. I don't know about headlining because I arrived at an event. She was at the event. People are saying we headlined. I met her. Amazing, sweet human being. Quite frankly, gorgeous young lady. She's so chic, it hurts. But like the way people are reacting to her is just so wild. Like I met a person and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, how dare you? I'm like, wait, what?
She created a whole other personality. I think a lot of people don't like scammers, frauds, people who take from others and live on the grift and don't have to work when so many people are struggling, especially right now. When you talk
why do American people keep voting for members of Congress who do just that?
Well, that's what I started with. I mean, who do you think does that?
Just look at the news. Look at the grift. Look at everybody in the news right now. Congress is a joke. Bipartisan joke. You want to talk about, George Santos was a joke? There's sex scandals. There's Tiffany, $109,000 diamond rings from Tiffany's bought with stolen FEMA funds. Like, what? Like, but here's the deal. I don't see the same obsession with Sheila McCormick from Florida that I saw with George Santos. She stole $5 million from FEMA, where Floridians are struggling all the time with natural disasters upon natural disasters. And I'm not trying to make this partisan. I'm just giving you an example of media bias. I don't see flocks of herds of people. I don't see internet sensation obsessions with her. Like, guys, what's up? She has a fabulous taste. Like, that diamond ring is kind of cute.
Yeah, but FEMA funds, like all this money is supposed to go is was somebody else's, you know what I mean? Like it should have gone to someone in need. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Like all of these people that are taking money.
Well, that's my point. Where's the obsession with Sheila McCormick?
I mean, honestly, I don't, it hasn't really been covered. And you're right. I mean, it hasn't.
Yeah, because she's not a Republican. So thank you for making my point.
I mean, Democrats go down all the time for.
Oh, really? What's the last Democrat that went down? Other than Menendez, please, because Menendez has been a corrupt politician for a decade. Other than Menendez, please give me another one.
What do you make of Bob Menendez and how he was holding on to the gold bars in his pants? I mean,
I don't care, honestly. His co-defendants were in prison with me. I don't care, honestly.
Oh, yeah? What were they like?
Yeah. Normal human beings. It's like
really?
Normal. Yeah. Like got caught up in Menendez's garbage, in my opinion.
Okay.
You still didn't answer my question. I know it's your
I'm sorry. I was thinking about that. I'm done.
It's okay. It's okay. No, you know what? Let's not do that because that's not the intent of this. Like, look, what it matters to me is this. We need to change the temperature in this country. The rhetoric is out of control. I think the divide amongst Americans has just gotten so toxic. It's dangerous. The amount of people who tell me to go, off myself on the internet, and they do it in the open, and these internet company, like these social media companies like Meta or X, don't do much to moderate that content. They claim they do, but it's still up there. people telling me to go off myself quite regularly.
Yeah, but it's all being controlled by Republicans now. I mean, it's Elon Musk is on it.
Mark Zuckerberg is a Republican.
I'm talking about X, Elon Musk.
I did mention Meta.
And
too.
now Mark Zuckerberg probably is a Republican.
No, he's not. Neither is Elon Musk. Look, Silicon Valley will always go ahead and pander to whoever's in power. That's just
yeah. So I mean, how can you say it's a political thing when they are all just?
It's not about politics. I'm talking about the behavioral aspect of society. Like, it's so toxic. Like, telling people to go off themselves is just unacceptable. Period.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So do you? I guess for a final question, because I know you have to run, but do you think you're honest now?
I think I'm honest. I think I'm forthcoming, and I think I've been abundantly generous with allowing people to have a look inside of my life. I do a lot of these interviews. I don't beat around the bush. I answer the questions you guys ask me. I refuse to go into some of the antics, and that's just something I guess we've never met, and I think that's almost wildly amazing that we've never met. Because you're Tara Palmeri and everybody talks about you. Right? We have so many friends in common and so many people who you've interviewed that I know. And I think it was just kind of like, oh, wow, I never met Tara actually. But I think honest, forthcoming and transparent. And I will continue to be that way. I wish all the people who criticize me, they criticize me not knowing that I'm the most accessible former member of Congress. You can't get members of Congress to do as much interviews as I did when I was there, talking about their own personal woes. They'll go on TV to talk about their shiny, scripts, but they won't go answer tough questions like I have. So, can I see your dog?
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. You're touching your dog.
She's hearing noises. I wanted to ask you though, who are your top 5 favorite presidents, starting with 1 and going down?
So one is always going to be Abe Lincoln. I'm a big Abe Lincoln fan.
Honest Abe.
Honest Abe is the best president this country's ever had, with temperament and everything he accomplished. I'd say Reagan, then Donald Trump. And my obsession with Reagan comes from electoral shellacking of 1984, which was wild, winning 49 states. Like that's gravitation. Donald Trump, which in my lifetime is the best president of the country. George Washington, who was so honest he would never tell a lie. And number 5 is JFK. I'm a big JFK fan, and I think JFK represented the people in the most pure sense of like what the American people deserve to be represented by. Despite coming from a super elite family, JFK is number 5.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming into the Lion's Den. I appreciate it. It's your Thanksgiving. I'm sure you didn't expect to have.
I did not.
In freedom.
I'm very thankful for it.
I saw that you were posting recently that you were feeling unwell, that you were feeling mentally unwell, which is surprising now that you're free. And I guess that's some sort of PTSD. So are you in therapy, or are you getting help right now?
I have a therapist. I have a psychiatrist as well, and I did get diagnosed with PTSD. And it's not from prison; it's from the isolation from the 41 days where I'm still struggling. I actually, it's going to sound so a first world issue, but it's still an issue. I can't go into my closet. I have an issue with it. Right? Like it instantly caves in on me, and it's just like something wild that I never experienced before. So tight spaces has become somewhat difficult, and I have the same reoccurring nightmare every single night. I wake up at the same time, screaming my lungs out. It's just not cool, but it is what it is. I'm going through it, but I like to talk about mental health awareness and talk about that it's okay. We all have it, because a lot of times there's a stigma and this taboo about like, oh, we don't talk about that. No, we talk about it because we lean on one another as human beings in order for us to get by difficult situations, and that's why I keep doing it. And I get a lot of people thanking me, like, "Oh, thank you so much for normalizing this conversation." And, doing my part.
Yeah. So, am I going to see you in the Marjorie Taylor Greene 2028 campaign?
Hey, if she runs for president, I said I would go campaign for her. And there's a few other people that I also like, but I don't think she's running. She's already said that she's not running. I think she just wants to go have happy, quiet life at this point. She tried. She's, you know.
Is she okay? I mean, this is her identity in so many ways.
I don't think this is her identity. I think, remember, Marjorie's only been in Congress. This is her third term. How can it be her identity? She's 50, I think, 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
So no, her identity
Maybe
is,
her national identity. Yeah.
it could be her political identity for sure.
Yeah.
But, lucky for Marjorie, 5 years in Congress doesn't define the amazing 49 years that preceded that. And I think that's the identity is Marjorie. Just she's a loving mother, she's a loving daughter, she's a loving friend, and a businesswoman, tough businesswoman too. She's a contractor, she's a construction company. So I think that's more her identity than all the political identity, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, thanks, George. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and thanks everyone who tuned in. And I hope you all got it out there, what you wanted me to ask from George. And
Thank
we'll
you
see
so much.
Where you end up next.
Let's see. You bet. Bye.
That was another episode of the Tara Palmeri Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this show, please rate it, subscribe, follow, share it with all of your friends. Please leave comments. If you like my reporting, you can go to tarapalmeri.com. That's TARAPALMERI. You can sign up for the red letter. That's where you can get all of my exclusive reporting and my independent journalism straight to your inbox. It is how you can support my independent journalism. And I will keep at it thanks to you. I want to thank my producer, Eric Abenate. I want to thank Abby Baker, who does my research and my social media, and Adam Stewart on the thumbnails. I'll be back again this week. I'm thankful for all of you. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving week and you're able to take it a little slower.